the Feel Good Friday with Bibi, Amina, Phili.
It's finally Friday again. Assalamu alaikum.
From South Africa to the world.
Let's go.
Don't miss out on
Join me, Bibi Amina Phili, for The Peaceful Perspective, a special Ramadan edition of the Feel Good Friday. Tune in every Fridays between 2 and 3 p.m. as we take you on a journey of self-discovery, inspiring stories and uplifting conversations. Step into our renovated studios and experience the tranquility and joy of the Ramadan with us. Don't miss The Peaceful Perspective, taking your hearts, minds, and souls to places it has never been before.
أهلا بك شهر حبيب فيك الأحبة تلتقي نرجو الهداية والرضوان بمزيد من ذكر وقيام هل الهلال بنوره بشرى لكل المسلمين.
It's gone by exactly a few minutes past the hour of 2 o'clock Central African time. Wherever you may be in the world, in your homes and in your cars, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Sanbanani noge, muribanji, daswera, mashka mola marhaba, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To you, it's finally Friday again, and I always say that I love my Friday afternoons because, of course, I get to spend it with you. Jummah Mubarak to you and yours. Of course, an exhilarating start to your weekend. It's 90.4 FM in Durban and 105.6 FM in Pietermaritzburg. If you don't have the app by now, of course, I can't stress this enough or more. You are missing out, of course, on all of the great stuff. You can check us out live right now on Facebook, YouTube, as well as Instagram. And if you missed out on any episode, you, of course, can catch us on Spotify. Today, yet again, bringing you the Peaceful Perspective Ramadan edition, day 14. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. So for today's show, we're focusing on gratitude, charity, as well as reflection. And we will be chatting to Professor Abdul-Fatah Saeed Mohamed, who is the Professor of Islam and Global Affairs at the Hamad bin Khalifa University, Doha, Qatar. And we will be discussing why Zakat is not reaching the most vulnerable Muslims. For our Faith in Focus segment, we will be visiting another one of my favorite surahs, Surah At-Tawbah. And we will be discussing on how we can adopt lessons and guidance from it. We also take a trip around the world and see how Ramadan is experienced in the Kingdom of Eswatini. We also catch up with some more individuals who you don't really see behind the mic or camera, and they will be sharing with us what Ramadan means to them. As we know, it's Ramadan, the month of the Quran, the month of mercy, the month of forgiveness, and even the month of giving. So today we will be giving away a Murchison Spice hamper as well as a spur voucher. Yes, you heard that right. And you have to send us a voice note. Simply send us a voice note telling us, what does Ramadan mean to you? Well, all that and more right here for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Feel Good Friday, traffic update. Updates that help you plan your day like a boss.
And on the line, we have Officer Ngwane. Officer Ngwane, tell us what's happening on our roads.
Feel Good Friday. We're looking at this weather. We are feeling good with the radio, but with what is happening outside, we're not feeling good at all. We're looking at our roads. On our roads, things are happening. We're looking like you're driving N3 westbound, Paradise Valley. We've got a slow-moving traffic, bumper to bumper. We're appealing to the driver to make sure they respect the rules of the road. M4, northbound, before La Lucia Mall, turn off. The road is starting to collapse. Please, drivers, be careful. You make sure that you respect the rules. You don't speed because our roads these days. I know it's raining heavy. N2 northbound. Bridge number 5 between Pangeni and Durban. You're going to Pangeni from Durban. We've got an accident there. All relevant departments are on scene. M7 Durban bound, vicinity of Western. We've got an accident also there. All the relevant departments are on scene. With you driving Mhlanga Rocks Drive outside number 193, we've got a sinkhole on the road. Please be careful. We've got a lot of body of waters around our area, let's say KZN. So we are appealing to the drivers, slow down. Don't drive on the path that you are not sure what is happening underneath, because you don't know, it might be having a sinkhole, or maybe the road is damaged. And most of the roads are flooded. Please be careful. If there is no need for you to go out, just stay indoors, except if there is something that is pressurizing you that you must be on the road. Other than that, our roads also are still under construction. We are appealing to the drivers. They make sure that they respect the rules of the road. When you're coming to the robot that is non-functional, it's not working, let's treat it as a four-way. The first come, first serve. That's how I can put it. The person who's been there first must be the one who's got the opportunity to move first. Have a lovely weekend. Enjoy and be safe. Till next week. I'm Warrant Officer Ngwane from Durban Metro Police. Thank you.
Feel Good Friday. Traffic update. Updates that help you plan your day like a boss. This is the Feel Good Friday with Bibi, Amina, Phili. Only on your #1 radio station.
This segment is brought to you by Kenfield Auto, your RMI approved service and repair specialist. 236 Brickfield Road, Overport. Kenfield Auto.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. ربنا إنك من تدخل النار فقد أخزيته وما للظالمين من أنصار.
Car won't start?
Kenfield Auto.
Noisy brakes?
Kenfield Auto.
Due for a service?
Kenfield Auto. Kenfield Auto, the answer to all your car problems. Your service and repair specialist for your VW, Audi, Suzuki, Toyota, or just about any vehicle. Kenfield Auto, your RMI and insurance approved workshop to handle them all. 236 Brickfield Road, Overport. Call us on 031 207 2399. Kenfield Auto.
Sunnah a Day. Proudly brought to you by Sunpick. 100% pure sunflower cooking oil. Sunpick. Cook more with less.
मेरे नबी प्यारे नबी सुन्नत तेरी दुनिया दी.
Sunnah a day. Do not eat food while it is very hot. Wait until it becomes warm before consuming.
Sunnah a Day. Proudly brought to you by Sunpick. 100% pure sunflower cooking oil. Sunpick. Cook more with less.
Imagine this. You're putting together a 7-color meal, from the creamy pasta to the glazed carrots and flavorful onion gravy. This entire meal is made with our 100% pure extra virgin olive oil from our La Familia range, bringing outstanding quality and taste to your kitchen. Shop La Familia 100% pure extra virgin olive oil at any leading supermarkets near you. La Familia, heart of the home.
Tune in to the Feel Good Friday with Bibi, Amina, Phili.
It's finally Friday again. Assalamu alaikum.
From South Africa to the world.
Let's go.
Don't miss out on.
Join me, Bibi Amina Phili, for the Peaceful Perspective, a special Ramadan edition of the Feel Good Friday. Tune in every Fridays between 2 and 3 p.m. as we take you on a journey of self-discovery, inspiring stories and uplifting conversations. Step into our renovated studios and experience the tranquility and joy of the Ramadan with us. Don't miss the Peaceful Perspective, taking your hearts, minds, and souls to places it has never been before.
تجري على أشجار طيبها. The moon in the sky, the stars lit at night, a sky full of wonders. A time that is blessed, me to self-reflect, a month like no other. All of my pain and all my hurt can all disappear with every verse. A time that I need, not just made for me, but for all of us. Ya Ramadan, Ramadan, month of forgiveness, not Ramadan. Ya Ramadan, Ramadan, miracles and gifts straight from the Lord. Oh, how I know Jannah awaits. In this month you've opened the gates. Ya Ramadan, Ramadan.
And welcome back. It is 90.4 FM in Durban and 105.6 FM in Pietermaritzburg. Now, we are about to get into a discussion and we are going to be talking about why Zakat is not reaching the most vulnerable Muslims. As we know, Zakat is one of the 5 pillars of Islam and it's meant to serve as a vital tool to poverty alleviation and social welfare amongst Muslims. It is an obligatory charitable contribution intended to support the most vulnerable, including the poor, the orphans, widows, and those in dire need. However, despite the substantial amounts collected annually, Zakat often fails to reach those who need it the most. In 2024, more than 500 billion US dollars was collected through Zakat globally, but yet many potential beneficiaries did not benefit from this. To further this discourse, we have a professor of Islam and Global Affairs from the Hamad bin Khalifa University in Qatar, who will be sharing his insight on this sensitive issue. Welcome to the Feel Good Friday, the Peaceful Perspective Ramadan edition. A second time for Professor Abdul-Fatah Saeed Mohamed and Ramadan Kareem. Assalamu alaikum. Khalifa University in Qatar, who will be sharing his insight on
Thank you
this
very much,
sensitive
sister,
issue.
for inviting
Welcome
me again,
to the Feel Good Friday.
and for engaging me in South Africa and engaging me through this lovely program. And I really thank you, and I'm pleased to join your audience, join you and your audience in this good opportunity. And of course, Ramadan Kareem, may Allah accept the deeds and accept all the qiyam and the prayers and the fasting, Allahumma ameen, from us and from all Muslims across the world, as well as Muslims in South Africa. Yes.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. But Professor, just to start the conversation for this particular afternoon, can you explain what Zakat is and why it is so important in Islam?
Yeah. As we all know, as all Muslims know, that Zakat is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. When we say it is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, it is like the Salat and the Shahadat and the Hajj and all the rest of these basically pillars. So it is a religious duty. It is an obligation, and this obligation is already well explained in the Holy Quran through the ayah number 60, verse number 60, chapter 9. إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين والعاملين عليها والمؤلفة قلوبهم وفي الرقاب والغارمين وفي سبيل الله وابن السبيل. And it is about basically, while it is an obligation, religious obligation, it is also purifying the money. It's purification of the money, as well as it is an expression of social solidarity, a safety net for those who are vulnerable, for those who are poor and needy. This is in a nutshell what we can express about Zakat basically. And of course, Muslims today are 2 billion across the globe, and the need for really getting this obligation well expressed and well known, and as well Muslims are aware about this duty, and specifically in the month of Ramadan, where the charity, the sadaqah, is compounded by the footsteps of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was like a wind when it comes to his generosity and his giving, basically.
Alhamdulillah. But what are the key principles that guide the distribution of zakah?
Yeah, there are, of course, principles that guides the zakat. Zakat is duty on those who are rich and those who have basically the resources to give from. These resources, if it is financial, then and they have it like for 1 year, and it has reached whatever they call as nisab, where fuqaha, the Muslim scholars, have different, of course, understandings of that. But it is a due of 2.5% of a fund that has been allocated, basically for 1 year as something that is due to spend from it for those who are poor and needy. And of course, you can spend to your community. And of course, you can as well, as some fuqaha mentioned, that this can be as well given to people overseas where they have more harsh kind of conditions, like the situation in Gaza, like the situation in other places in Asia and Africa, where Muslims are facing many challenges, basically. Usually, zakat is instituted by the Muslim ruler, by a Muslim leader, to help basically making this distribution across those who are in need, and to ensure that the funds are not getting in the hands of the rich. It has to go from the hands of the rich to the hands of those who are poor and needy and vulnerable, basically.
But despite, as we know, the obligation to give zakat, why are so many vulnerable Muslims still struggling?
Absolutely. This is a very good question, sister. This has to do with what we call many issues. One of the issues is that the managing and distribution of zakat has been facing several challenges in the Muslim world, basically. Sometimes it is inefficiencies in collections, sometimes inefficiencies in the distribution, sometimes lack of transparency, and sometimes maybe there is no adequate infrastructure that can ensure that this process is streamlined, basically. And there are other challenges. Sometimes it could be like misinterpretation of what is due and when it comes to zakat. And sometimes it could be that people just give zakat to people around them. They don't check and find out or inspect that these are people really legitimate. This is why there are many vulnerable people who are not getting zakat, and there are people who might have the resources, but they are not giving zakat. So you have all these challenges that is at the level of collection or at the level of distribution that can make many, unfortunately, Muslims at this situation. And remember one thing, sister, as well. The number of crises, conflicts, and disasters, they are on increase, unfortunately. And this, of course, would multiply the demand for zakat, for charity, and for sadaqah overall. And if there is no proper awareness among Muslims that zakat is a farida, obligation. It is not only sadaqah, a charity that you might give or not. This is something, there is like a reward depending on that, and as well as there is a punishment for those who are not going to give their zakat. So you have this social, economic, political number of challenges that's really preventing that zakat reaching basically the right hands.
But what are the main barriers preventing zakat from reaching to those who need it the most?
Yeah, basically, sometimes these barriers could become like religious interpretation in terms of the due amount that to be distributed, or sometimes maybe not sufficient legal structure within the national or local or community level, basically. And sometimes it could be, a lack of understanding at the tribal level or at the community level, who is the right people to be given this zakat, basically. So you have number of barriers that might not really, and of course, in addition to what I mentioned, which is the inefficiencies, ineffective kind of, national zakat committees, probably some of them they face or they use probably old systems. They are not sophisticated in terms of tracing who is due, in terms of those who are due beneficiaries of zakat and due to be given zakat, basically. So you have these kind of challenges which are not only one portion of challenge. There are many challenges across, and this causes, of course, the to have some barriers. And at some point of time, if you recall, the challenges of the war on terror where Islamic charities cannot transfer money, for example, to places of conflicts. Or if you take the case of Gaza, for example, the blockade that was set up by the Israeli forces, not allowing basically and causing starvation. This is among the challenges. These are global challenges. And of course, these are against international law, against international humanitarian law. Access for food, access for aid has to reach everyone, basically. Yeah.
But is there an issue with how Zakat funds are being collected and managed?
Yeah, there are issues when it comes to collections of Zakat. If the approach, some countries, for example, they consider Zakat as part of what you call taxation. Some other countries, they don't consider Zakat as part of the taxation. Some countries, they regulate it in the sense that they go to the private sector companies, corporations, and so on, and family companies to collect. Some they might leave it for the people just to give from their own, basically, and to depend on themselves to calculate their own zakat. You have, for example, share stock markets. In some countries, the stock market, they calculate the zakat and they advise basically the companies to get the zakat out. In some other countries, you don't have the same. So you have these different kind of approaches, different policies, different settings that may affect what you call or may cause that this zakat is not really managed as it should basically, to ensure in addition, of course, to cultural aspects, sometimes to misinterpretations from a religious perspective, or from a religious kind of basically fatwa that's given to some people. And this is why, and of course, some people, they think zakat is only on money. Zakat is not only on money. Zakat can be as well on agriculture, on other kind of resources and assets. So some people might have only zakat on a specific portion of wealth, or a specific portion of resources, not the rest, basically. As a Muslim, you have to calculate your zakat, whether it is in agriculture, crops, and so on, or it is in money. And of course, when it comes to gold, for example, sometimes Muslim women, they don't understand, or they do not differentiate between the gold, which is kept as as an asset, basically, as a saving, compared to the gold that is in use. So there are fiqh issues that Muslims should be aware of in order to ensure that zakat can reach the maximum number of Muslims, basically. Some governments, like Indonesia, for example, they have a very effective system. Indonesia is like almost 290 or 300 Muslims, but they have improved their systems, basically, to ensure. Saudi Arabia as well, they have a very good system. Qatar, here we have a very good system to ensure that the Muslims can get really, they can collect a good amount of money, and they can, of course, distribute it to those who are in need.
But how can we ensure a greater transparency in collecting zakat and the distribution of zakat?
Absolutely. Sister, we are living now in the era of artificial intelligence. We are living in the era of digitalization. Now, this is now from I would just call from this platform that Muslim governments and Muslim institutions, zakat committees across the Muslim world, across the Ummah, as well as outside the Muslim Ummah, they should be using this kind of blockchain technology. They should be using digitalization, kind of digital cards, basically, to ensure that the process is really well managed, transparent, and well governed, basically, using these technologies. Alhamdulillah, our Muslim Muslim Ummah, there are people who are quite advanced when it comes to technologies. There are countries where they are really ranking high when it comes to artificial intelligence or digital technologies. It is time now, it's quite timely now to use these technologies, basically, to ensure, an obligation like zakat could benefit from these technologies, basically, in order to reach and not to leave anyone behind, basically.
But how can, the international organizations and local communities work together to ensure that zakat reaches conflict zones and the vulnerable individuals and communities?
Yeah, I mean, potentially there is a possibility, where international organizations like the United Nations can reach certain locations where Islamic charities, community organizations might not reach, basically. And some of the organizations have started to call for zakat, or call to collect zakat or to establish zakat funds. But that has to be done in collaboration with local organizations, with Sharia committees, I would say, in order to ensure that the zakat is not left for, maybe misinterpretation, or maybe for excessive use of the money of zakat for administration, or sometimes as well for, unfortunately, for lack of transparency. So yes, international organizations have benefits and have, basically advantages. At the same time, the local organization should not be left outside, and international organizations should not go by themselves and collect zakat and distribute zakat. They should be working hand in hand. I think such an experience, such a partnership and experiences in terms of capacity building of transparency, as well as transfer of technology, all of that could be beneficial. But the duty is on Muslim rulers, basically, and the duty is on Muslim scholars and the national zakat committees. Yeah.
Absolutely. But Professor Abdul-Fatah Saeed Mohamed, Jazakallah so much for joining us today on the Peaceful Perspective. Hoping, inshallah, we can get you back to talk to us a bit more about, of course, your expertise. But until next time, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you very much, sister. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, of course, you heard it right here. We spoke about zakat and why does it not reach the vulnerable? Well, of course, let's go for a short ad break. And when we come back, we're going to jump straight into the ayah of the day. And it is my favorite, Surah Tawbah.
This Eid, let's spread joy and put smiles on thousands of kids' faces. Join me, Bibi Amina Phili and Ria Mohamed in putting a smile on every child's face with a special sweet hamper. Drop off your sweets at 207 West Road or call Outreach at 031 208 1601. Let's make Eid sweeter together.
Join me, Nishal Sarwan, and the Breakfast Rush team this Ramadan as we gear up to distribute 1,000 degs of hot meals this Ramadan and Eid, because no one should go hungry. Sponsor a deg for just 1,850 Rand, Lillah only. Call Outreach now on 031 208 1601.
Al-Ansaar Outreach Weekly Halim Distribution. Join us every Saturday during Ramadan for a heartwarming Halim distribution at our PMB branch, 240 Ortman Road. When? Every Saturdays in Ramadan. Time? 1:15 p.m. Where? The Al-Ansaar Foundation PMB branch. Come share in the spirit of giving. Everyone is welcome.
My John, will you marry me?
Are you serious?
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. We're getting married.
Yes, we are.
Okay, but just one thing.
Uh-oh, what?
I have to get my wedding gown from Jasmine's Bridal.
Like there was ever another option. Because when you say yes, everything should be perfect. Starting with the dress. Discover our timeless collection of bridal gowns starting at just 5,000 Rand and make your special day truly unforgettable.
Best day ever.
Jasmine's Bridal, where your love story begins in style. Durban Halal Meats, your premier source for top quality halal certified meats in South Africa. With over a decade of experience, we deliver succulent lamb, tender beef, juicy chicken, and flavorful mutton to restaurants, caterers, the hospitality industry, and to your table. We're also the first halal butcher for you to shop online. Enjoy competitive pricing and personalized solutions crafted just for you. Find us on durbanhalalmeats.co.za or visit our store at 84 Felix Dlamini Road. Durban Halal Meats, where quality meets trust.
This is the Feel Good Friday with Bibi Amina Phili, only on your #1 radio station. Tune in to the Feel Good Friday with Bibi Amina Phili.
It's finally Friday again. Assalamu alaikum.
From South Africa to the world.
Let's go.
Don't miss out on.
Join me, Bibi Amina Phili, For the peaceful perspective, a special Ramadan edition of the Feel Good Friday. Tune in every Fridays between 2 and 3 p.m. as we take you on a journey of self-discovery, inspiring stories, and uplifting conversations. Step into our renovated studios and experience the tranquility and joy of the Ramadan with us. Don't miss the peaceful perspective, taking your hearts, minds, and souls to places it has never been before.
تجري على أشجار طيبها. Self-reflect, a month like no other. All of my pain and all my hurt can all disappear with every verse. A time that I need, not just made for me, but for all of us. Ya Ramadan, Ramadan, month of forgiveness, not Ramadan. Ya Ramadan, Ramadan, miracles and gifts straight from the Lord. Oh, how I know Jannah awaits. In this month you've opened the gates. Ya Ramadan, Ramadan, pray that I have every reward. The mercy it brings, forgive all my sins. Allah hears my every prayer. The patience it teaches transcends beyond reach. The blessings that fills the air. All of my pain and all my hurt can all disappear with every verse. A time that I need, not just made for me, but for all of us. Ya Ramadan, Ramadan, month of forgiveness, knock on my door. Ya Ramadan, Ramadan, miracles and gifts straight from the Lord. Oh, how I know Jannah awaits. In this month you've opened the gates. Ya Ramadan.
Welcome back. It is 90.4 FM in Durban and 105.6 FM in Peter Maritzburg. And if you have just joined us, we'd like to welcome you with open arms. Well, today we're going to be jumping into one of my favorite surahs, which is Surah At-Tawbah. So I've been reflecting on something very powerful this week. In Surah At-Tawbah, specifically verse 60, this verse touches on the importance of zakat and charity. It's not just about giving money. It outlines a really beautiful, almost holistic approach to charity, where it talks about different groups of people who are deserving of support. These include the poor, the needy, those working for the cause of Allah, and even those whose hearts are needing healing. Now, people who might need, of course, be in need of our help in ways that can go beyond the material aspect. And I've always been thinking about it. I've realized how much this verse really speaks to us today in ways we might not immediately think of.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful.
إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين والعاملين عليها والمؤلفة قلوبهم وفي الرقاب والغارمين وفي سبيل الله وابن السبيل فريضة من الله والله عليم حكيم.
And that was the beautiful recitation of Surah At-Tawbah, Quran 9, verse 60. Now, what I've learned from Surah At-Tawbah, it's all about compassion. And it's not just only about giving. So the first thing that really stuck to me is how the verse emphasizes on compassion. It's not just about handing over money or material things. It's about giving something from the heart, showing people kindness and recognizing people's dignity. no matter what they may be going through. That's something I think we can all relate to. Sometimes a kind word or even a little support can mean more than anything to someone else. We all have a responsibility to each other. When I look at Zakat, it's clear this isn't just about an individual act of charity. It's a system, Allah's system, almost a reminder that we are responsible for each other's well-being. If we're honest, we all have moments when we forget that, when we get caught up in our own little world. But this verse kind of shakes us up a bit and says, hey, pay attention. There are people who need you, and it's your job to help make sure nobody is left behind. It also teaches us reconciliation is key, bringing people together. And then there's the part of the verse that talks about helping those whose hearts are to be reconciled. It's not just about fixing problems with money or physical things. It's about mending relationships, healing wounds in a world where there's so many things that divides us. And division seems to be getting deeper and deeper. It really stood out to me that we have to do more than just fix problems on the surface. We need to bring people together, help them heal emotionally and even spiritually. When we look at zakah charity, it is more than the material giving. What I found really beautiful is how the Quran doesn't just talk about material giving here. It's about giving on all levels, emotionally, socially, and even politically. Zakat goes beyond just feeding the poor or giving the needy. It's a reminder that we're here to promote justice, peace, and even harmony in every way possible. That's something that we can always be reminded of, right? But I'm sure we're looking for relatability. How does this particular verse speak to us today? When I look at the world around us today, with all the struggles we face, whether it's inequality, division, or even conflict, this verse feels like it's speaking directly to us. Even now, I think we can all agree that the need for charity, compassion, and even reconciliation is a great thing, greater than ever. And the lessons here is timeless, and they're especially relevant in our modern world. And of course, let me know how you think that this particular zakat and this particular surah can, of course, motivate you. But also, we can talk about it in an economic and equality is real. Zakat can help us bring or bridge the gap. Now, if you take a look at the gap between the rich and the poor, it's impossible to ignore this verse. This verse really gets me thinking about how zakat could help play such a vital role, such a powerful role in balancing out that zakat is more than just a form of charity. It's a system that reminds us to help addressing the imbalances. And it's not just about the nice things to do, it's a necessity. We can deal and heal division in our communities. The part about reconciliation and the heart really hits home for me, because in today's world, it feels like so many people are divided by politics, by religion, by beliefs. But we have to realize that reconciliation, real healing, can start with us. It's something we can bring into our everyday lives, whether it's within our families, our friendships, or even a broader community. We can be part of that process of healing and coming together as one. It's not just about the financial charity, it's all about us. And it's important to remember that charity isn't just about giving money sometimes. It's offering your time, your energy, your listening ear, your skills. Think about the people who are struggling emotionally or even spiritually. They need our support just as much as those who need it financially. Zakat is a reminder that generosity takes many forms, and we have so many ways to give. But how can we bring this into our daily lives? So what does it mean for us practically? How can we take lessons to apply them in our daily lives? We can practice generosity, focus on reconciliation and peace in our everyday lives. We can also try to be part of helping process in our communities. whether it's making peace with somebody you've had a disagreement with, or even helping bring two sides together in conflict. We can do our part to heal the division. And of course, this is how we can create unity and truly believe it starts with us. Think beyond just our very own circle. And finally, Zakat encourages us to think beyond our immediate surroundings. Yes, we need to care for our own families and communities, but it's also about reaching out and considering the broader needs, supporting initiatives, getting involved in causes that fight injustice, standing up for what's right. And these are the ways, of course, we can live out the spirit of the verse. But just to end off, I would say the conclusion. When I think of Surah Tawbah verse 60, I realize how much it has to teach us. It's not just about charity. It's about compassion, reconciliation, social responsibilities, and healing. The lessons from this verse are absolutely timeless, and they're so relevant in today's world. If we can take these lessons to heart, I truly believe that we can make a difference in the lives of others in our very own way. If you are inspired by that, of course, you can go and check out Surah Tawbah from the beautiful Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to gain maximum benefit in this month of Ramadan. But of course, don't go anywhere. Up next, I asked a few individuals, what does Ramadan mean to them? Stay tuned.
This is the Feel Good Friday with Bibi, Amina, Phili, only on your #1 radio station.
Elegant, stylish, and affordable, Al-Noor kurtas are designed to make you feel confident and stylish with intricate embroidery, vibrant colors, and comfortable fabrics. These kurtas are sure to become your go-to choice for everyday wear and special occasions alike. Visit the Al-Ansaar bookshop at 207 West Road, Overport, or call them on 031-208-1601. Al-Ansaar Shop, your one-stop Islamic shop.
Well, Ramadan means spirituality, spiritual cleansing. Furthermore, it means readdressing, if you will, the spiritual self and to see where you're lacking and where you're not doing too well, so you can tie up the loosening ends. And again, is to, reaffirm your affinity with the Creator, with the Almighty.
Ramadan is a time for spiritual reflection, self-discipline, unity, generosity, and just coming together as a community, helping the poor, giving zakat, and just basically showing kindness everywhere you go. It's also a time to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and just remember who you are and what you're supposed to be doing here on this earth.
Assalamu alaikum. What does Ramadan mean to me? Well, besides the sleepless nights, very little sleep, and trying to get a nap here and there, Ramadan is a time for compassion, charity, love, getting families together, also recalling our loved ones who we lost. Well, remember, this is the time where we connect spiritually. So from me, Sumaya Khan, have a blessed, beautiful Ramadan.
So Ramadan means to me, it means a lot to me. It means unity, peace, love, tranquility, and just being close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And just trying to find that inner peace that you've been looking for. I mean, we spend the whole year, sinning. Well, not everyone, but we spend the whole year sinning, doing so many other things, and then we forget that the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I think it's just that time of the year where we just all get together, get to ourselves, get closer to Allah, read the Quran, just self-retrospection.
That was truly, truly inspiring. But Ramadan is observed around the world. And as we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us in different nations and tribes so that we can learn from each other we took a look and we took a little visit to the Kingdom of Eswatini. Take a look.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Greetings from the Kingdom of Eswatini. First of all, we would like to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who made it possible for us to reach this month of Ramadan. And we're still asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this 11th day of Ramadan to make us finish the month of Ramadan. As far as our experience in Swaziland, I would like to say it's a very great experience that comes with a different atmosphere altogether. Remember, Swaziland is one of the Muslim minority countries where masajid are very far, and people make a lot of effort in Ramadan just together for iftar, together for Taraweeh. That experience, seeing the brothers on a daily basis, praying together, making dua, knowing quite very well that this is a month of barakah, this is a month of maghfirah, this is a month of blessings. Yeah, it shines differently. It makes itself a different month. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all our du'as all over the world. And we wish you a peaceful and Mubarak month of Ramadan. Jazakumullah khaira.
Ramadan Kareem to you as well, all the way from Durban, South Africa to the Kingdom of Eswatini. Well, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, we've come to the end of yet another amazing edition of the Feel Good Friday, the Peaceful Perspective Ramadan edition. Of course, you can join me next week, same time, same place, as of course we bring you ayahs of the Quran that of course you would like to hear and guests that you find interesting. A big shukran to my behind the scenes crew, Asif, Suhail, Zach and Tobega, making sure that this production comes out absolutely crystal clear. Like we say, it's not just a show, it is a production. Until next week, Assalamu alaikum.
أهلا بك شهر حبيب فيك الأحبة تلتقي نرجو الهداية والرضوان بمزيد من ذكر وقيام هل الهلال بنوره بشرى